Namaste guys, ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out from Denver, Colorado, here in my favorite rollerblading trail, the Cherry Creek Trail, which is still under construction, and I think they're making some progress. Speaking of progress, that leads us perfectly into today's talk on how do you know you're progressing on the spiritual path. Because there's not such a thing as like sitting down, Clara, Namaste, as sitting down and taking like an SAT for spirituality. That rhymes, I should trademark that. Right, so you can't sit down and be like, Rosa, Namaste, Jennifer, Namaste, sit down and go, well, last time I took this test, I got 80 out of 100, and this time I got 85 out of 100 while I'm progressing spiritually. Not quite how it works on the spiritual path. Ooh, I do see guys working on the trail though, so that's a positive. Progress all around. You guys are gonna come rollerblading with me. This should be fun. Alejandra, Namaste. So, progress keeps us motivated. Progress keeps us in the game. So if you've been meditating for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you're gonna wanna see some level of progress. But what does that progress even look like on the spiritual path? Again, you can't sit down and necessarily take a test and score higher and go, aha, I'm progressing on the spiritual path. So in pranic healing, which was created and founded by Grandmaster Choa Koksui over 30 years ago, there's a skill that anyone can develop and refine over a period of time called scanning. Scanning is nothing more than feeling subtle energies. And by feeling these subtle energies, it tells you certain things about certain situations. So, when you meditate, over a period of time, your aura gets bigger, your aura gets cleaner, your chakras get bigger, your chakras get cleaner, they're filled with more energy, they become denser because they're more powerful, and scanning is a way to validate that. So you can scan your chakras, you can scan your aura, you can get a baseline measurement for all of those areas, and then do your spiritual practice for 6 months and notice if there's improvement. Did your aura get bigger? Did your aura get smaller? Did your chakras get bigger? Did they get smaller? And what numbers are we using to quantify the size of the chakras? So in Grandmaster Choa Koksui's first book, originally titled The Art and Science of Pranic Healing, he renamed it years later to the Miracles Through Pranic Healing because people all over the world were experiencing miraculous healing results doing the protocols within pranic healing. So he renamed it Miracles Through Pranic Healing. In that book, he talks about what the chakras, the size of the chakra, the circumference of the chakra should be for an underdeveloped person, for an ordinary person, for an above average person, for a highly developed person, and for something like a saint or even a holy master. Melissa, Namaste. Yeah, that's right. We're doing a live stream while we're rollerblading. We got bikes around us, joggers around us, walkers around us, other rollerbladers around us, but rest assured, no one's gonna get hurt. Everyone's gonna have a grand old time. So in that book, we have a baseline measurement of saying, aha. So I scan my chakras and comparing it to this chart, if you will, looks like I have ordinary chakras. So you do your spiritual practice for 6 months, rescan, your spiritual practice for 12 months, rescan, your spiritual practice for 5 years, rescan, and see what you notice. Wow, my chakras are much, much bigger than they were before. My aura is much, much bigger than it was before. Also, another way to determine if you're making progress on your spiritual path, Mini Namaste, is your life improving. What does that mean? So if you start your spiritual practice, your meditation practice, your energy healing system, whatever the case may be, and your life starts falling apart, that could be because you're doing the technique improperly, you're not following simple instructions, Or maybe that's not a school that's right for you. Dog, namaste at that time in your development. Right? So you have to practice discernment. So scanning and pranic healing is a way that we discern or judge correctly if something is right for us or not right for us. Clara says, Christian, I just realized that you are rollerblading. I thought you were just walking so smoothly. Yeah. I'm working on getting to the point of walking on water. I guess I'll just have to settle with rollerblading on water. We'll get to the walking part later. Jennifer, Atma Namaste, my longtime contra dancing partner from back in the Dizzy over 20 years ago. It's been over 20 years ago. Blows my mind when I think about it. So is that making sense? So that's one way that you can determine if you're making progress on the spiritual path, but also looking at your life. Is your life improving? Are your intimate relationships improving? Are your friendships improving? Are your finances improving? Are you better at your career now after doing your practice for 6 months or a year than you were 6 months or a year earlier? Do you have more inner peace? Do you have more happiness? Do you have more joy? Do you have greater mental clarity, right? So these are all the things that you can look for in your spiritual practice. Now, there's a big fat caveat to this. When you meditate, you bring down more spiritual energies. What does that mean? Spiritual energy is a fertilizer. So if you pour fertilizer on the ground, does it only grow the grass? No, it also grows the weeds. Does that make sense? So as you're doing your spiritual practice, it's going to magnify the good things within you, and it's also going to magnify the bad things within you that you planted, seeds that you planted in this incarnation, seeds that you planted in a previous incarnation. We don't really know. That's why purification is super, 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 super important on the spiritual path. And that is taught in great detail in pranic healing and Hatha yoga, which we're not going to cover on this live stream. But that is one of the best ways of validating if you are making progress on your spiritual path. Another point, and this is actually mentioned in a book that was recommended on the reading list by Grandmaster Cho Koksui by Franz Barden. And he wrote this book called Initiation into Hermetics. And it's a very interesting book because some of the challenges take 5, 10, 15 years to successfully accomplish before you go on to the next chapter. Think about that. He says in the book, all right, here's the exercise. Do this exercise for the next 5 years before you progress to the next level in the book. That's pretty hardcore, right? So one of the examples he uses is imagining a clock in front of you set at a certain time, and then you hear the ticking of the clock. Tick, 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 tick of the second hand. The goal is to visualize and to hear the ticking of this imaginary clock for a period of time. So let's say you start out and you do it, you're only able to do it for 30 seconds. And then after a month of practice, you're able to do it for a minute or 2 minutes. And then 6 months later, you're able to do it for, who knows, maybe 5 minutes straight. So part of that would be developing your visualization ability and your concentration ability, which are extremely important skills to develop on the spiritual path, especially if you're a healer, and especially if you want to materialize things faster than ever before. Because one of the qualities you need to materialize a need, want, or desire in your life is clarity. I'm going up a hill. This is spectacular, and you are so, and so are you. I'm getting you a GoPro. Yeah, GoPro. Does that mean I'm going pro? Wait a minute, I'm already a professional energy healer. Do you mean a professional rollerblader? I bet there's meetups in Denver where people go rollerblading with each other, either competitively or like in sport, where they're holding each other's hands and being like, I've never felt this connected to anyone in my life before. What should we do after this meetup? Should we rollerblade to each other's apartments? Wouldn't that be adorable? So, getting back on track, clarity is super important on a spiritual path. So that would be a way of determining your progress of doing that exercise, going down a hill, doing that exercise for, say, being able to hold it for 5 or 10 minutes, right? 5 or 10 minutes of being able to visualize an imaginary clock with imaginary tick-tock, 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 and hearing it clearly in your mind's eye for a period of 5 minutes. That would help you materialize things so much faster. Upasana Atma Namaste. So, that would be one of the things I would recommend. And in Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui's book, Origins of Modern Pranic Healing, he lists other things that you can scan to determine your progress on the spiritual path. For me, something that really determined my progress, Kelly Atma Namaste, was how should I put this? Recognizing that things that used to annoy me, that used to really get under my skin, that used to cause like a lot of frustration and impatience, we're going down another hill, no longer bother me. And when I say no longer bother me, I mean so much so that I totally forgot, Kate, Atma Namaste, I totally forgot that even bothered me to begin with. So for me, that's progress, and that's progress on the emotional level. We have the physical level, we have the emotional level, we have the mental level, and we have the spiritual level. So those are different ways that you can evaluate your progress. And I'll leave you guys with this final thought, if you will, from one of my teachers in pranic healing on the East Coast. He says something really profound that is connected to making progress on the spiritual path. He says, once the crown, Pat, Atma Namaste, once the crown is sufficiently activated, one no longer has a choice but to serve. So I'll say that again. When one's crown is sufficiently activated, one no longer has a choice but to serve. So an example would be, maybe 5 years ago, you would see a homeless person or a beggar on the side of the road asking for money, and you would be in your car or you'd be walking by and you would just think nothing of it. You're like, whatever, not my problem that he's homeless. It's his fault. He didn't make right life choices. He's the one that chose to get addicted to alcohol, addicted to drugs, right? All this judgment, all this criticism, etc., right? Then, as you do your spiritual practice, as you open up your heart, as you open up your crown, you begin to have more compassion, more empathy, more understanding, and you have a greater sense of oneness. And you start to say, well, wait a minute, rather than all these differences between me and this homeless person, we're actually far more similar than I once recognized and realized. And you don't want to see your fellow brother or fellow sister in pain, so you reach into your wallet and you give him $1, you give him $5, you buy him a burger, you get them a little toiletry kit, right? Something like that. And you think nothing of it. It's spontaneous. You don't have to fight yourself and go, ugh, I gotta give this guy $1, this is ridiculous. You willingly and lovingly reach into your wallet to help this person and to alleviate this person's suffering. That's how you know you're making progress on the spiritual path. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope that inspires each and every one of you to sit down and do your meditations daily, not weekly, not monthly, not quarterly, not only when there's a retreat in town, but every single day, do your spirituality. Do your meditation practice. Clara says, spontaneous acts of kindness. Oh, I freaking love you too, girl. Ladies on, bringing the heat. I can't tell you how blissful this ride is. Hey, check out the water. You guys see it? Yeah, that's nice. Going down another hill. So, this ride is so awesome because did my meditation practice, did a healing. Did I do 2 healings? I have to get back to the house because I haven't got everything lined up. But so blissed out from doing the meditation practice, then healing, and now moving my physical body, which is amazing because it helps me integrate and assimilate the divine energies that were generated during the meditation and during the healing. So it's win, 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 win. I don't know who the fourth win was for, but I'm going up a hill. It's a little harder up a hill. How's my hair doing? So somebody said to me, I'm not going to name any names. Oh, hey, there's a couple making out right here. Did you guys catch it? They're all in love with each other. So anyways, somebody said to me the other day, I'm not going to name any names, but she knows who she is, said, my hair is getting a little crazy and I need to get it styled again. And I was like, are you kidding me? The nerve of this person, the audacity of this person. Good thing I love this person a lot, so I'm taking the feedback not to heart, but I'm taking the feedback to practice. That's the cool thing about, believe me, I'm not 100% there, but going back to spiritual progress, back in the dizzy 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, if people gave me negative feedback on something, I would get all butthurt, I would take it personally, I would justify and rationalize why they were wrong and why I was right and why I didn't have to do anything to change and it's all on the other person. But now, when I take feedback, I do my best to remove my ego and my personality from it, and I say, okay, why is this person giving me this kind of feedback? Is their feedback valid? And if I implement this feedback, will it improve the quality of my life? And if the answer is yes, yes, and yes, then we move forward. Gyana, namaste. If the answer is no, yes, no, 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 then we say thank you very much for the feedback. We don't take it personally. We don't make them wrong. And we just lovingly move forward. So, woo! Yeah! Hopefully I don't hit that baby. That woman thought I was very loud. You guys know by now I'm pretty loud when I roll. So, very soon I'll be fixing my hair to make sure everyone's appeased. Because you have to recognize and realize that, true, you're not the physical body, you're the soul, but you also have to take care of your physical body. And appearances mean something. Because if I dressed like a slob and I wasn't articulate with my words, even though the message may be profound and it may be coming from an advanced soul, you would not be receptive. And if you're not receptive, you miss the message and you lose out. So that's why I've always been trying to work on having a better image for energy healers, for spiritual and meditation teachers, instead of being completely a wackadoo and completely unrelatable. And that's why I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of professionals, because they get it. So, that being said, if you would like to work with me for coaching and for healing, I highly recommend you do it, because it'll transform your life in ways that you cannot even imagine. And I say that with the utmost humility. I've just been privileged and honored to be trained by great teachers over the past 20 years of my life. As one of the teachers recently said to me, recently said to me on a post I did. He said, "You've been a well-fed soul. Now it's your time to feed others." And I was like, "Oh, that's high level." So I'm just doing the best I can to pass on the teachings and wisdoms I've received from others. So go to ChristianRLong.com, look me up, schedule a consultation. It's 30 minutes for free. We clarify where you're at, what you want to accomplish, and how pranic healing can help with that. And if you know exactly what you want and you're ready for healing, then click on the Schedule a Healing button. Super, super duper easy. I try to make it, I have a rule of thumb. I always make it easy to do business with me. Always. That's why you guys can find me pretty much anywhere online. So, love you guys very, very much. This is Christian R. Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you, David, namaste. Wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.